What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Duress and Silver Tempest is finally here, folks. So I want to bring your attention to this Regidrago list that actually got second in the first Silver Tempest Legal Expanded Tournament. Let's go ahead and check this out. Obviously, the main star of the show is Regidrago VSTAR at 280 HP with its Apex Dragon attack. For grass, and fire, you choose an attack from your dragon Pokemon in your discard pile and use it as this attack. So we have a couple of options in terms of discarded dragon Pokemon that we can use. Of course, we don't need the energy requirements. We just need to meet the energy requirements of Regidrago specifically. Keep that in mind. So we have a Noivern GX. Of course, it's a stage 1. Doesn't matter that it's an evolution Pokemon. We're usually looking to use its Distort attack. For 50 damage, it blocks item cards from being played from the opponent's hand. And then Sonic Volume can also do a lot of work in special energy matchups, blocking special energy attachments from the hand. We also have a Mega Rayquaza EX, 230 HP, which is quite the drop off from V-Stars, which is funny to think about. But it's pretty cool that we can actually use a deck. We can actually play a deck with Mega Rayquaza EX, and it's actually up to the power level with its Dragon Ascent attack for 300 damage. You discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. So this is very similar to almost like Giratina V-Star, where it's doing actually 20 less damage. This is doing 20 more, and we're discarding 2 energy where you lost zone 2 energy off of Giratina V-Star. So this is our big time attacker dealing big time damage. We also have a Dialga GX, mainly using this, of course, for its Timeless GX attack, letting us skip the opponent's next turn. Just really racing prizes. Maybe we're racing a 1 prize deck, or taking down something like a Tapu Lele or a Deden, because we are also running 2 muscle bands, so important to remember. It also has a shred attack, which is, you know, if you're up against a Miltank or something like that, that is something important to remember. However, we do have other options for getting around Miltank and annoying stall Pokemon like that we'll get to. We have a Crobat and a Deden for our draw support. We have a Tapu Lele for our supporter search. And then we are playing a 2-2 line of Trubbish and Garbodor to shut off abilities. Of course, this isn't really a terribly ability-heavy deck other than the draw support. The V-Star ability isn't terribly important, and in case we are looking to use that V-Star ability, which is discard the top 7 cards of our deck and then put 2 cards from our discard pile into our hand, it can be very useful late game, I found. What we can do is just use our Field Blower, which we have 1 of. I think I said in the set review for Silver Tempest that I think Field Blower should just be a 1 of in every deck. We are also playing 2 Wobbuffets, very good for because we're usually trying to go first, right? We're not looking to attack on our first turn. So we're usually looking to go first, attach past the turn. And Wobbuffet lets us pass the turn relatively safely. Obviously, they can still Tapu Lele search, but we are fairly protected from a lot of abilities. We also have 3 Battle Compressors, of course, to get our attacking targets, like our discard targets, into our discard pile. We have 3 Battle VIP passes, because this deck, obviously, as you can see with the Crobats and the Dedenne, it can draw very hard into the deck on the first turn, so we can usually set up pretty well with some Regidragos. Obviously, we're looking to discard a lot of our hand anyways, so the turbo option isn't too detrimental to us. We have a Mysterious Treasure that not only lets us search up our dragon Pokemon, or we can like search up a Regidrago, but we can like discard a Rayquaza or a Noivern, whatever, to Mysterious Treasure to get the Regidrago. Quick Ball actually does the same thing, but searches for any Pokemon. Rescue Stretcher lets us buy something back, say like a V-Star that we discarded early. And then our ace spec actually in this deck is Scoop Up Cyclone, and I really understand why Komiya, the creator of this deck, put it in, because if you start something like Dialga, like, you need to get that not only onto the bench, but you need to get the Dialga back into your hand to discard. Or Rayquaza and Noivern, not as much of a problem, but even scooping up a Dedenne or a Tapu Lele is really crucial with this deck. So yeah, using the A-Spec slot on something that's not a dowsing machine or a computer search is a very tough sell for me. But for this deck, I do think it makes sense. 4 VS Seekers, standard. 1 Colress. This deck, I think I have questions about whether Colress is necessarily the best inclusion, because you're not really going deep on your bench, but it is just a strong card in general. We have 1 Guzma. Maybe I could see like the Colress becoming a second Guzma or Boss's Orders, but you know, we'll play the games first. I've played I think about 3 or 4 games with the deck. It feels very strong, and these are just kind of my initial thoughts, but we'll break down, I think, maybe like 4 or 5 games and see what the results are from there. We have 1 N and 2 Marnie for our Disruption. We have 2 Professors of Research. Again, the Research is a pretty good draw option in this deck. I could see the Chorus maybe being another Research, because you really are just looking to discard as much of your hands as possible and just draw really hard. We have 1 Zinnia as our last supporter. It says you can play this card only if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your last turn. Attach up to 2 basic energy from your hand to one of your Dragon Pokemon. This is going to be kind of tough because our energy count is not really conducive to this card. We are running 2 Fire, 2 Grass, and then 4 Double Dragon Energy. Double Dragon Energy is, of course, just incredibly strong. I think this is the correct energy count. I just wonder if Zinnia is the right home for this deck, because your basic energy count is so low. But we also have, in terms of our tool count, we have 4 Float Stones to help us turn on our Garbodors, as well as, you know, retreat some awkward, clunky, basic draw supporting Pokemon out of the active, as well as 1 Air Balloon, so to act as a, you know, 5th copy of Float Stone. But yeah, that'll just about do it. Let's go ahead and jump into the games. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hope you enjoy, and yeah, see you on the battlefield. All right, loading on up into game 1 here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and flip tails. We take tails, and we go first. This is definitely a going first deck. Ooh, okay. Nah. Ooh. Yeah. Had to think about that one for a second, but yeah, this is a great hand. Do we double compress? Yeah, I didn't think that was going past turn 1. All right, there you go. That's why you don't play fast raid decks, because it loses to going first. All right, I guess I didn't really need to stop the recording, but hey, game 2, let's get into it. Pretty Mew coin. Win the coin flip again. We're gonna go first again. And yeah, this is a pretty good hand. Yep. A little bit awkward. I guess we can see what our opponent's up to. Interesting. Dragapult VMAX is pretty good. With Mewtwo, V-Union. Okay. So this blob isn't going to do anything in terms of actually blocking stuff. This Dedenne is kind of rough though, because I can't really afford to Dedenne away 3 Double Dragon Energies, I don't think. That's a bit much. That's a Mew V. This can be Fusion Strike, I wonder. How are we going about this? I think we do. We do double Reggie. Go like this. Now the problem is if abilities actually get shut down, we can't dedem. But then, yeah, no, I don't think we. And we have our rescue structure. I think we just have to pass like this. I think that's. I mean, it's not great, but if we can make it past this turn, which I mean, it's turn 1, so. But if we can make it past this turn, I feel reasonably confident about that. Interesting. Can't imagine that's the. Oh. Draw 3. Battle compress some AV union pieces. Yep. We're getting to, oh, and a pass. I do like that. It's a late. Okay, so we go Drago. A bit awkward now, isn't it? I'm starting to realize we could just attach here. Except for psychic. Okay. So we're gonna have to retreat before we do this. Yeah, because then, so ideally, right, we go Dedem, hit a target, and a VS Seeker. VS Seeker for research away the target, able to attack with Drago. If that doesn't work, we can use the Drago VSTAR. That works. Yeah? Yeah, that works. Do we need abilities, I guess, is the question, because we could... Do we... I guess we can both set it up and not worry about that. Yeah, because we can discard the Guzma, so we're gonna go... Yeah, so we're gonna go like this, we're gonna discard that dude, we're gonna go like this, we're gonna go like this. Mysterious Treasure for Rayquaza. We could also Timeless. No, we don't have enough for that. I'm gonna Dialga. I would want to like not gonna support, but we don't have that. We're gonna get a Mega Rayquaza. Oh, that kind of works because now we can just discard one of the two. Okay. Get a Research. We're gonna Research. Nice, and that's why Scoop Up Cyclone is in the deck. Okay. So now we can just pick up one of our support Pokemon. Which one do you want to pick up though? Doesn't even matter, does it? I think we save it. Yeah, we can save it. There we go. Nice, and we have a follow-up attack. Interesting that it's playing actually just three targets, but it's all it really needs, isn't it? You have big damage, you have disruption, and you have a turn skip. Oh, actually, two forms of disruption. I forgot. Yeah, special energy and items. I always just like immediately think about just the item part of Northern GX, but the special energy part, especially in expanded, like it's relevant, but the problem is, right, like with 3 energy, like, I mean, not 3 energy, 2 energy attachments, because, you know, double dragon energy, like that is definitely a steep cost. But I think when you have it in such a flexible box like this, where you can do a bunch of other stuff and not have to like actually worry about the specific energy types, because, you know, that's kind of the thing that holds back dragons, you know, in standard, right, is the fact that double dragon energy just doesn't exist. I want to kill that Mewtwo real bad. I gotta read what this thing does again. So, can I kill it with a muscle band and a... Yeah, that would work, right? So how do I go about doing that? I think we're always attaching here. We can also... I don't really want to hand disrupt. What is in my deck that needs to be gone? Chorus is reasonable then. Don't need. Oh, okay. Yeah. VSTAR is prized. How important is this ability? These abilities to shut off? I don't think terribly important. Let's attach. I really want to draw into. Here. Just want a goose one? We want to draw into a muscle band. That's right. Gonna take the slightly slower placing as no, I messed up. I realized I could have V-starred for it. Okay, lesson learned. That is a noticeably worse hand as well. But he can't really do anything. Okay. There we go. lethal if you get hand disrupted. I was a little bit sloppy, but still figuring it out. It's fine. Could be extra rude. No, let's just... There we go. We could just take another turn, but that's a little rude. Nice. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, baby, we are on fire with the coin flips. Okay. That's... I love the top deck and energy. Let's see. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Okay. And then, yeah, the other one's in our hand. We can also go... I kind of like that play. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to go... We can also do it to the... We could also do it to... the Trubbish. I think that's actually better. Oh, wait. No, let's do it to the... Yeah. Let's do it to the Wobbuffet. Look at this dude. Look at this goofy little guy. And... go. Battle compressor. For 3 king cards. Oh, that's a bit scary. Because those come back. Those always come back. Okay. Maybe the Trubbish would have been better. I mean, we're kind of, you know, we're guessing in the dark here, so. Not sure exactly, based on the current metagame, what would be the best choice. And, you know, everybody's gonna be trying new stuff. It is the first full day of release. No, Friday was full day, but it is the day after the release. Okay, so there's a Zoroark. There's a Wally. Oh, okay. Does he have an escape? Oh, that's pretty difficult in terms of like it's gonna be very difficult to navigate this. Maybe we are looking to use this Noivern not good. We could play it slow and play the fire energy. Marnie. No. I hate just attach passing. But hopefully this wow effect can do a little bit of work. Only thing, I mean, other than like a natural draw, right? Or just like having another supporter, like a draw supporter. Okay. Chorus. Chorus or N, I guess that gets in the same thing. Okay. Okay. Just gonna pump it up. Man, this deck draws so hard. Pump it up again. Interesting that he didn't pump to the active. Oh, jinx. Okay. That's a card. Yep. One VS Seeker used. Okay, that's pretty bad. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything we can press it on? I guess. But great. Another battle compressor, sure. Alright, for some amount of cards. Yeah, that will more or less do it. I don't think we can come back in any way. We're left with just a Waba Fed here. Oh well. Oh well. Good game. I haven't really seen. I don't know how many. Huh. I don't know how many Silver Tempest cards I've actually played against them. That's kind of awkward. Do we just... Yeah, we got... You know what? We have basically 5 float stones, so we're just going to stick the Trowish in front for now. And do that. Going first once again, winning the coin flip, by the way. Love to see it. What's going on here? That's a draw. I'm gonna discard draw. Let's see. We're gonna go double Drago. We have one prized. Kind of yikes. Okay. Should be able to maneuver around that though. Attach, battle compress our targets. Oh, we are missing our main target. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We can also compress our other battle VIP pass. Yeah, that seems fine. Because we have a researcher. We have a Crobat into I think that's okay. I think we can, yeah. Nice, that's pretty good. Would have liked 2 float stones, but can't complain too much with that. Guzma and Hala, both of them at the same time. Discarding a path and a psychic. Yeah, path isn't terribly useful against us past turn 1. Latias and Latios. Okay, I could not see that. Interesting. That's a sick draw. That is a sick draw. So we evolve here. Seeker research. Oh, that's a nice draw. That however is not a way to retreat. I see why there's 5 float stones in here now. We can Zinnia next turn. I guess that doesn't really matter though. I think we're just still attach passing. Letter. Let's see what they get. Fighting and metal. Okay, so he's gonna knock out this Wobbuffet, of course. Put up this big boy. Take a look. Now we're at the point where I don't want to just repeatedly search, which is kind of awkward. Hand down though. To each doesn't do anything. One. We're probably doing that, right? Dialga, skip a turn, or take an extra turn. Store is not gonna do shit, is it? Actually, we just end them. Yeah, it's either between this or this. We can't get that knocked out. Yeah, we have to go like this. Which I don't really like, but... Even digging for at this point. That's not relevant. Scoop up, I guess, is relevant. Kuzma to be at some point. Probably just rescue stretching that back here. I think we're just doing. Could do 120, right? And block. Yeah, I like that. So now we block special energy, so we can't double dragon attach. Oh, okay. We really need that second Draco to put us in a good spot. Yeah, Marnie. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, we have treasure, an extra floatstone, and 2 a VSTAR. Love that. Love that. Okay. Takes 80. Oh, we can't find the Rayquaza, which is kind of awkward. This dude is getting knocked down. I think so, right? I think this dude is getting knocked out because, yeah, he's gonna do 240. Are you worried about that? I don't think so. Treasure, Drago. Huh. No, our Garbodor is still on. Could do some weird stuff probably with the VSTAR, but that is turned off. This is a bit dicey, actually. But the Marnie actually helps us. We can't really reliably knock out here. So we need to find that second muscle band, I believe. No, we need to find second muscle band plus field blower. Okay, that helps. Right, I think you do. Okay, I just gotta think about it. This seems kind of stupid. Okay, scoop up Drago for the, yeah. At that point, you just draw so many cards. I don't imagine you missing it from there. And it's still there, right? Yes. Okay, good. I will get this so I can discard it later. The research if I need to. We're going to slurp this dude up. We are going to Legacy Star. We missed it. Okay. Oh no, 8 cards. Okay. What do we want? There's really not anything else that does it. I would just go and take this, I guess, but like it doesn't really matter because we're gonna research it anyways. Okay. Okay. Oh, I guess we'll do the 131. Either one would have been enough, but okay, we got there. It would have been very unlikely to not draw the field blower, but I would have been very sad if that happened, if that was the last card. Oh, I would have been so sad. But yeah, good game. So wrapping up with thoughts on the deck, I think this deck is very impressive. There's a couple of things that really stand out to me that you can do with the Regidrago VSTAR deck. So one thing is that, of course, like Mewtwo Mew, you have the sort of kind of like box style of deck where you have these sort of options in terms of attacks. However, with this deck, we've really like refined it down to only 3 cards. I think the creator of this deck really nailed it in that you can really pinpoint the kind of like pressure points that you can apply, that you can, I guess put pressure on to maybe not necessarily take a one-hit knockout when you don't have your Mega Rayquaza or something like that, which we did see in one game. We were able to string together some Noivern attacks, which were extremely meaningful in blocking the special energy attachments from the hand. One thing I think I wouldn't say missed, but forgot about is that, I thought that the item cards being blocked, I thought the attack that blocks item cards, Distort, would be a little more impactful, but it actually turned out that we just wanted to Sonic Volume, because Sonic Volume is still 120 with a muscle band that's 140, which is relatively okay. That's 2 hitting V-Stars. So being able to block special energy cards plus being able to string together 2 hits, really, really crucial in the expanded metagame because so many decks are special energy reliant. We also have, of course, the Dialga GX, which was really crucial for turns where we couldn't one-hit knockout, but we didn't necessarily want to do the item lock or the special energy lock. You know, there's a lot of decks that are running special energy. There's a lot of decks that are running no special energy, though. It's pretty balanced in the metagame right now, so I think having this option of just, taking another turn, very, very helpful, and still doing a meaningful amount of damage at 150 that is still in combination with other attacks to hitting a lot of Pokemon. And then Shred, of course, we didn't get to really do the Shred, use Shred that much, at all, but I think it is still going to come up in corner cases where it is really, really useful. And then as for our Pokemon, I think the Disruption Pokemon, the Garbodor line, as well as the Wobbuffets were perfect. Wobbuffet being a perfect turn 1 active sitter. You don't really mind getting a 1-prize Wobbuffet knocked out, and you can still use your Tapu Leles. I wouldn't really change anything about the list of Pokemon. I think one thing you could do is maybe play around with the choices that you grab in maybe more casual games, like maybe not tournament games. You could play around with the kind of like fun Pokemon that you could board in. There's one that I think could be potentially interesting, two that I think could be potentially interesting for this deck that I think could be competitively viable, depending on the metagames, of course, is the Flygon V with a Draconic Impulse. If it's a VMAX, it does 320 damage. If it's not, it does 160. But if it is a VMAX, you discard 3 energy. And dealing 320 is a serious amount of damage. 340, nothing's withstanding that with a Muscle Band. So yeah, I would be kind of interested in checking that out, trying that, as well as the Garchomp V, which also has a very awkward energy cost for its attack, just like the Flygon, but it's kind of like perfect, right? And these very clunky 4 attachment multi-prize Pokemon are just don't have any legs on their own, but inside of this Regidrago archetype, I think they are perfect. So the Sonic Strike attack for 4 energy, water, fighting, colorless, 3 energy, discard 3 energy, sorry. This attack does 220 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So maybe you have you've started item locking with Noivern, but you want to snipe out a bench sitter that has 50 damage on it. I think Garchomp could be interesting in that. A little more corner case, I guess, than well, it's more of a, corner case per game, whereas the Flygons is more corner case in its matchup. So it's, more dependent upon, are you worried about the metagame, or do you want, more options in terms of attacking, being able to attack the bench and whatnot. As for the trainers, I think the trainer list is almost perfect. Actually, let's go ahead and skip to the energy, because I think the energy is just pretty much standard. 4 double dragon energy was perfect, and then the 2-2 split of your fire and grass is perfectly fine. Yeah, nothing, it's fairly unremarkable, but it does the trick, and it was very consistent for us. As for our trainers, I think the 3 battle compressors and 3 VIP passes were good. I could see you wanting to go to maybe 2 VIP passes, but maybe that's just me being very greedy. 1 Field Blower is solid. Again, 1 Field Blower in every deck. Mysterious Treasure. 4 Mysterious Treasures is great because you can discard your Regidrago targets to find a Regidrago. So that was great, and it also finds a Tapu Lele, of course. Quick Ball, again, did the same thing. Rescue Stretcher, and again, Quick Ball, we're not ever, Quick Ball is great because we're really only trying to search up our V-Stars in terms of evolutions. We're not trying to find any of our other evolution Pokemon to actually like play onto the bench. So Quick Ball is, I think, reasonable. I could see going up to like maybe like 1 or 2 Ultra Balls instead of the Quick Ball, just so you have the option to search out your Regidragos, but it didn't seem to be too much of an issue for our games, so I think this is probably pretty reasonable with the just 3 Quick Balls, 0 Ultra Balls. But I might go ahead and try 1 Ultra Ball. Anyways, Rescue Stretcher, I think 1 Rescue Stretcher was great, and then the Scoop Up Cyclone as our ace spec was a solid inclusion. I think Scoop Up Cyclone is great in this deck because it lets us reuse our Dedens and our Crobats, and we can also scoop up a Dialga. I was kind of more worried about that in the beginning. That didn't really come up, and I don't think that's really going to come up too much. Of course, it's going to happen every so often. Then when you do scoop up Cyclone your Dialga, you're like, oh, thank goodness I have this in the deck. But it wasn't really too impactful in terms of doing that. But it was much more impactful in terms of just letting us draw through our deck. The 4 VS Seeker, not anything special there. And then as for our supporters, I think the supporters is something that could use potentially a bit of work. The Colress, maybe I've just been playing too many Skyfield decks, but I don't find that the Colress is particularly impactful enough in the early games, and honestly kind of just detrimental because you don't want a Colress for 5. That's just worse than a Cynthia, so I would be hesitant to keep the Colress in moving forward. I'd probably put it into maybe another research, that card slot. I could see like the Marnie also being another N. Maybe that's a little too greedy, but we are able to kind of like steamroll our opponents, and we're not really worried about... No, actually no. I think the 2 Marnie, 1 N is perfectly fine. I'm not a big fan of Marnie, but I think for this deck it's okay, because it does... The problem is if we, I don't know, go literally like 6-1 on prizes and we N, that's pretty detrimental to our game plan, and there is a reasonable chance that we brick on our top decks, whereas Marnie doesn't really do that for us. Of course, if we have a closer game that goes down very low on prizes, Marnie is not ideal, but we hopefully will be at the point where we can just use an N instead and kind of push through there. One thing I would almost definitely switch out is maybe the Zinnia. The Zinnia is, I think, a cool inclusion, but it is particularly difficult to set up. There's only 4 basic energies in our deck, so trying to get them into our hand without, having to turbo, like, draw through our deck with the Dedens and the Crobats and the researches can make things kind of awkward. But we are able to use our Regidrago VSTAR ability in order to get some energy back to Zinnia with a VS Seeker, get that back. I think maybe I should probably be exploring that line a bit more. It just doesn't, it sounds a little too awkward and clunky to me, especially with the, again, only 8 energy cards, 4 of which are targets for this card, makes it a tough sell for me. But I think this would probably be the first change I would make, is make this this 1 copy of Zinnia into a research. I feel better about that than maybe switching out the Colress. And then as for our tools, I think our tools were perfectly solid. Having the 5 float stones with the 4 float stones and 1 air balloon was perfect. Keeping our Garbodors online, being able to switch out our Wobbuffets, even though we did get bricked on a couple turns with the Wobbuffet, but that wasn't too bad. And then our 2 Muscle Bands to just kind of stretch for damage. The debate of Muscle Band versus Choice Band versus Choice Belt or whatever, like, it's, I think it is pretty much like, I think the 10 damage less is something that we can live with, while having the general, just being able to generally hit everything for more. Because the stuff like playing like a Sonic Volume, having that Muscle Band always add damage to the Sonic Volume is extremely impactful, because it lets us knock out V-Stars in 2 hits. So I think, as much as I previously haven't been a fan of Muscle Band before, I think it is the correct choice here. But yeah, overall, I think this deck is pretty solid. I would play around with it, but I think it is definitely somewhere in the realm of competitively viable. You know, just like we saw with Hisuian Zoroark, able to just abuse some old cards, some old mechanics, and I think Regidrago is going to do that in a much different, but probably honestly much more interesting way. Being able to not only have this box style of deck where you can just throw in whatever kind of goofy dragon Pokemon you want, and it can be like a stage 2, right? With some like 5 mana attack cost, and it doesn't matter. And honestly, you want evolution Pokemon so they don't start, and you can just not worry about having them ever be inactive. It's kind of perfect. Having like that whole box aspect combined with the ability hate, I think gives this deck a lot of legs moving forward. And, you know, with more dragon Pokemon coming, this deck only gets better, so it doesn't have that issue of like, oh, all of this stuff only applies to Vs. Once we get to Scarlet and Violet, it only gets weaker because this kind of just works with Dragon. As long as you got dragons, you're good. So I'm really excited to see, you know, moving forward with I am messing up the name, but Crown whatever, the next Pokemon set, the final Sword and Shield set before Scarlet and Violet, and Scarlet and Violet as well. I'm sure we'll get some cool Dragon Pokemon in there as well. I'm excited to see what we can, what kind of goofy stuff we can pull off with Regidrago VSTAR. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for commenting, which I'm hoping you'll do. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment about what kind of deck you want to see from Silver Tempest. I know there's not a lot of like terribly crazy impactful stuff, impactful cards for expanded, but I think there is some stuff we could mess around with. One thing I was thinking about, just a rambling ending here. One thing I was thinking about was maybe trying out the Sunflora and goofing around with that, since it's just a double colorless energy attachment. So yeah, thanks so much. Take care and have a good one, y'all.